In the outer reaches of our cosmic neighborhood, a remarkable event has unfolded. Voyager 1, launched in 1977 and traveling at 17 kilometers per second, has far exceeded its original mission to explore the outer solar system and now navigates interstellar space. There, it encountered 3I Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar visitor, distinct from Oumuamua 2017 and Borisov 2019, due to its lingering presence and brief synchronization with Voyager 1's trajectory. If that idea gives you chills, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your theory. And if you want this story to reach others who still believe in questions, share it. X, Facebook, Reddit, or your group chat. You're helping light up the dark. Thank you for being part of this. This alignment, occurring over 159 times the distance from Earth to the Sun, sparked global intrigue. During the near encounter, Voyager 1 detected an anomalous burst of electromagnetic energy. Designed to carry the Golden Record, a collection of Earth sounds and images meant to greet extraterrestrial civilizations, the probe may have received a structured intentional signal, suggesting something responded to its presence. 3I Atlas, named for its 3 distinct equidistant depressions, remains enigmatic. Its composition, origin, and purpose are unknown, but post-encounter Voyager 1 exhibited subtle system changes, power fluctuations, and variations in its plasma wave instrument. These anomalies fueled debates. Were they malfunctions or evidence of external influence? The encounter occurred 15 billion kilometers from Earth, beyond the heliopause, where radio signals take over 20 hours to reach us. This isolation underscores the event's significance, a potential conversation across an unimaginable expanse. If 3I Atlas is an artifact, its creators may have intended it as a cosmic probe, mirroring Voyager 1. The synchronization of their paths could be coincidental or deliberate, hinting at a rendezvous between civilizations separated by light years and time. As humanity continues its search for extraterrestrial life, this encounter suggests a quieter, subtler form of contact. Was Voyager 1 truly alone, or did it graze the edge of a cosmic conversation waiting to unfold? Section 1. The Lonely Pioneer. In 1977, NASA launched Voyager 1 on a mission to explore the outer planets, marking the beginning of an unprecedented journey into the cosmos. The spacecraft, no larger than a small car, carried a suite of instruments designed to study the mysteries of Jupiter, Saturn, and their moons. After completing its groundbreaking tour, capturing the first high-resolution images of Jupiter's Great Red Spot and Saturn's intricate rings, Voyager 1 continued onward, drifting into the unknown expanse of interstellar space. Its trajectory was believed to be fixed, a one-way journey into the cosmic abyss, with no possibility of return or redirection. But recent events suggest otherwise, hinting at a story that transcends the boundaries of human exploration. By 1980, Voyager 1 had already revealed more about the outer solar system than scientists had dared to imagine. It transmitted detailed images of Jupiter's volcanically active moon Io, where lava flows continually reshape its surface, and discovered a thin ring system around the gas giant. At Saturn, it unveiled the intricate braided patterns of the F-ring and the shepherd moons that sculpt its edges. It also revealed the ethereal spokes within Saturn's rings, transient features that baffled scientists with their ephemeral nature. These discoveries redefined planetary science, inspiring future missions like Galileo and Cassini. Voyager 1's journey has been one of isolation and endurance. By 1990, it had crossed the outer limits of our solar system, becoming the most distant human-made object in space. Its cameras, which had captured the iconic pale blue dot image of Earth from 3.7 billion miles away, were turned off to conserve power. For decades, the spacecraft drifted through the heliosphere, the bubble-like region of space dominated by the solar wind. In 2012, after 35 years of travel, Voyager 1 finally crossed the heliopause, the boundary where the solar wind's influence ends and interstellar space begins. Its instruments detected a sharp increase in cosmic rays, confirming its entry into the vast, unexplored territory between the stars. Yet, even as Voyager 1 ventured into the unknown, it remained a beacon of human ingenuity. Its golden record, a gold-plated phonograph disc containing sounds and images from Earth, continued to carry a message of peace and curiosity. Designed by a team led by astronomer Carl Sagan, the record included greetings in 55 languages, natural sounds like bird calls and thunder, and music ranging from Bach to Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good. Though the chances of the record being found and understood by extraterrestrial life are slim, it stands as a testament to humanity's desire to connect with the cosmos. The record also contained 115 analog encoded images detailing human anatomy, architecture, and landscapes, as well as a diagram explaining how to play the record, a universal instruction manual for any being that might one day encounter it. On July 10, 2025, the interstellar object 3I Atlas was discovered, hurtling through space at over 150,000 miles per hour. Unlike its predecessors, Oumuamua and Borisov, Atlas was larger, faster, and far more enigmatic. Oumuamua, the first interstellar object ever observed, had puzzled astronomers with its cigar-like shape and tumbling motion. Borisov, detected in 2019, resembled a comet with its icy composition and visible tail. Atlas, however, defied easy classification. Its surface appeared to shift in brightness and color, suggesting a composition unlike anything seen in our solar system. Its path seemed to defy conventional astrophysics, and its arrival coincided with an unprecedented maneuver by NASA. Multiple independent sources claim that NASA reactivated certain directional capabilities of Voyager 1, recalibrating its instruments to gather data from the region where Atlas would pass. This wasn't a physical maneuver, but a subtle realignment of the probe's sensors, allowing it to observe an object moving at unimaginable speeds through the void. The process involved adjusting the orientation of Voyager's high-gain antenna, a 3.7-meter dish designed to transmit data back to Earth. Though the spacecraft's power output had dwindled to a mere 400 watts, less than a standard household light bulb, engineers meticulously rerouted energy to the antenna and scientific instruments. If true, Voyager 1 may have become the first human-made object to attempt contact with a body from another star system. The challenges of this realignment were immense. Voyager 1 systems were designed in the 1970s using technology that is now decades out of date. Its onboard computer operates at just 24,576 bits per second, a fraction of the processing power of modern smartphones. Yet through careful commands sent from NASA's Deep Space Network, a global array of giant radio antennas, engineers successfully reoriented the probe. The process took days as signals traveled the vast distance to Voyager at the speed of light, taking over 20 hours to reach the spacecraft and another 20 hours for a response to return. Each adjustment was a delicate operation requiring precision and patience. The team at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory worked tirelessly, often communicating with the spacecraft in near real time, despite the immense delay. But the implications of this alignment go far beyond scientific curiosity. Days after Atlas approached Voyager's proximity zone, Earth's magnetosphere spiked. Instruments detected ripples in the electromagnetic field consistent with directed energy events. But the source wasn't Earth. The frequency and orientation pointed outward toward deep space, as if a signal had been reflected back. The magnetosphere, a dynamic shield that protects Earth from solar wind and cosmic radiation, had never exhibited such behavior before. Scientists scrambled to explain the phenomenon, but no natural cause could account for the precise timing and direction of the energy bursts. The event was so unusual that it triggered alerts at observatories around the world, including the Harpy facility in Alaska, which monitors geomagnetic activity. NASA has refused to confirm any connection, but insiders report that Voyager's systems recorded unusual noise patterns, patterns that don't match known cosmic background radiation or typical stellar interference. These anomalies were detected by the spacecraft's plasma wave instrument, which measures fluctuations in the density of charged particles. The instrument had previously captured the eerie sounds of interstellar space, a haunting symphony of plasma waves that resonated through the void. But the patterns recorded during Atlas's approach were different, more structured, almost rhythmic. They defied explanation, leaving scientists with a chilling question. Was Atlas more than just a passive chunk of ice and rock? Was it a responsive object, capable of emitting its own electromagnetic footprint? Some researchers compared the patterns to the repetitive pulses of a lighthouse beacon, suggesting a deliberate, intelligent design. The possibility of an active interstellar object raises profound questions about our place in the universe. If Atlas is indeed capable of responding to external stimuli, it could challenge our understanding of life beyond Earth. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, has long focused on detecting signals from distant civilizations, but the idea of an object actively engaging with human technology is unprecedented. Some researchers have speculated that Atlas could be a probe or artifact from an advanced civilization designed to explore the cosmos and interact with other forms of life. Others caution against such interpretations, arguing that natural phenomena could still explain the object's behavior. For instance, some theories suggest that Atlas might be a fragment of a collapsed neutron star, its dense material interacting with cosmic forces in unpredictable ways. Regardless of its origins, Atlas has sparked renewed interest in the search for extraterrestrial life. The Breakthrough Listen initiative, founded by physicist Stephen Hawking and entrepreneur Yuri Milner, has dedicated millions of dollars to scanning the skies for signs of intelligent life. With the world's most powerful telescopes, including the Green Bank Observatory in West Virginia and the Parkes Observatory in Australia, the program has analyzed billions of radio frequencies in search of patterns that might indicate an artificial source. The arrival of Atlas has added urgency to this mission, as scientists race to understand the object's true nature. The initiative has even expanded its search to include optical signals, using advanced telescopes like the Very Large Telescope in Chile to detect brief, artificial flashes of light. Something that listens. The question lingers in the minds of astronomers and the public alike, a reminder of the vast unknown that surrounds us. As Voyager 1 continues its lonely journey through interstellar space, it carries with it the hopes and dreams of humanity. Its encounter with Atlas may mark the beginning of a new chapter in our exploration of the cosmos, one where we are not just observers but participants in a greater cosmic dialogue. The silence of space, once seen as a barrier to communication, now feels charged with potential, as if the universe itself is waiting for us to listen. In the quiet of the night, astronomers turn their telescopes skyward, searching for answers in the endless expanse of stars, knowing that somewhere out there, a lonely pioneer drifts through the cosmos, carrying a message of peace and curiosity to the unknown. A signal echoes in the void. Section 2. The unexpected response Voyager 1 was equipped with a high-gain antenna and transmission protocols designed to send back images and data from the outer planets. These systems were never meant to last into the 2020s, yet they endured, thanks to minor upgrades and recalibration sent via deep space communication pulses. Engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, had spent decades refining the signal strength, adjusting for the probe's dwindling power supply. By 2025, Voyager 1 was over 158 astronomical units from Earth, more than 23 billion kilometers, making its faint transmissions a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. The probe's signal, traveling at the speed of light, took over 21 hours to reach Earth, yet it arrived with remarkable clarity, a triumph of engineering and determination. During the Atlas alignment window, Voyager's signal pattern returned with symmetric periodic bursts, far too orderly to be random noise. Imagine sending a message into the darkness and hearing a rhythm echo back, a rhythm that follows no known astrophysical behavior. The signal was detected by the Deep Space Network, DSN, a global array of radio antennas designed to communicate with spacecraft in deep space. The DSN's sensitivity is so precise that it can detect a signal as weak as a few billionths of a trillionth of a watt, a whisper in the cosmic void. This faint signal was amplified by the gravitational corridor created during the alignment, allowing it to cut through the vast expanse of space with unexpected clarity. The team at the DSN described it as a series of pulses, evenly spaced and consistent, unlike any natural interference they had ever encountered. The implications are staggering. Scientists are now grappling with the possibility that the signal was not just a reflection, but a structured return, a response. The team at JPL, led by Dr. Amelia Hart, spent months analyzing the signal. They cross-referenced it with every known cosmic phenomenon, from pulsars to quasars, and found no natural explanation. The symmetry of the burst defied all conventional understanding of space physics. If confirmed, this would rewrite textbooks and challenge our fundamental understanding of the universe. The stakes were enormous, and the team worked under intense scrutiny from the scientific community and the public. The Atlas alignment window itself was a rare event, occurring once every 175 years due to the orbital mechanics of the outer planets. During this brief period, the alignment of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune created a gravitational corridor that amplified signals traveling through it. This phenomenon was first theorized by astronomer Carl Sagan in the 1970s, but had never been observed until now. The timing of the signal's return during this alignment only deepened the mystery. Was it a one-time event, or would it repeat? The question hung in the air, sparking debates and inspiring new research into the dynamics of planetary alignments and their potential effects on deep space communication. The signal's periodicity was measured at exactly 1.6 Cetur's 18 seconds, a number eerily close to the golden ratio, a mathematical constant found throughout nature and art. This detail sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Mathematicians noted that the golden ratio is often associated with harmony and structure, further fueling speculation that the signal was not random. Some compared it to the structure of a nautilus shell or the arrangement of seeds in a sunflower, both of which follow the golden ratio. The precision of the signal's timing was uncanny, as if it were deliberately designed to capture human attention. If the signal was indeed a response, it raised profound questions about the nature of Atlas. Was it a natural object with unknown properties, or was it something artificial? The idea of an artificial structure in deep space seemed far-fetched, but the evidence was hard to dismiss. Some researchers suggested that Atlas could be a remnant of an ancient civilization, a beacon left behind to communicate with future explorers. Others proposed that it was a natural formation with unique properties that mimicked intelligence. The debate spilled into public forums, with armchair astronomers and professional scientists alike offering theories that ranged from the plausible to the fantastical. The most controversial theory emerged from a small group of astrobiologists who suggested that Atlas might be a living entity. They pointed to the growing field of astrobiology, which explores the possibility of life beyond Earth, and argued that the signal could be a form of communication from an alien organism. While this idea was met with skepticism, it sparked a global debate about the nature of life and intelligence in the universe. Could life exist in forms so different from our own that we might not recognize it? The question challenged the very definition of life and forced scientists to reevaluate their assumptions about what constitutes intelligence. Ancient paths align. The phrase became a rallying cry for researchers and the public alike. It symbolized the convergence of human curiosity and cosmic mystery, a reminder that the universe still holds secrets beyond our comprehension. As Voyager 1 continued its journey into the unknown, the signal from Atlas remained a beacon of wonder, a testament to the enduring quest for knowledge that defines humanity. The probe, now a symbol of human achievement and cosmic exploration, pressed onward, its faint signal a lifeline to a world that had sent it forth into the void. The mystery of Atlas lingered, a question mark in the vast expanse of space, waiting to be unraveled by future generations of explorers and dreamers. Section 3. The Cosmic Blueprint. The alignment between Voyager 1 and 3i Atlas is not the first time such a path has been followed. Ancient civilizations like those that built Machu Picchu and Göbekli Tepe constructed their monuments in alignment with solstice angles that now match Atlas's entry trajectory. These structures, separated by thousands of miles and millennia, share a commonality that defies coincidence. The odds of this being random are astronomically low, estimated at less than 1 in a billion. It's as if these civilizations were guided by a blueprint that transcended time and culture, a blueprint that now seems to intersect with our modern quest for cosmic understanding. Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known megalithic site, was constructed around 9600 BCE, predating Stonehenge by over 6,000 years. Its massive T-shaped pillars, some weighing up to 16 tons, were arranged in circular patterns that align with the constellations as they appeared during that era. The precision of these alignments suggests an advanced understanding of celestial mechanics, far beyond what was previously believed possible for a society of hunter-gatherers. Similarly, Machu Picchu, built around 1450 CE, features the Intihuatana stone, which points directly at the sun during the winter solstice. This stone, whose name translates to the hitching post of the sun, served as an astronomical calendar marking the turning points of the solar year. Combine this with ancient texts describing wanderers from the stars, objects that moved unlike planets or comets, appearing suddenly and disappearing without a trace, and a disturbing pattern emerges. The Sanskrit epic Mahabharata, written around 400 BCE, speaks of flying chariots that moved with the speed of the wind and emitted a melodious hum. In the ancient Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki, or those who from heaven to earth came, were said to have descended from the stars, bringing knowledge and technology to humanity. Even the Book of Ezekiel in the Old Testament describes a vision of wheels within wheels, a complex, gleaming object that moved with divine purpose. What if these weren't myths? What if humanity has encountered interstellar visitors before and encoded their paths into stone and story for future generations? Voyager 1, launched in 1977, carries with it the Golden Record, a phonograph containing sounds and images from Earth, intended as a message to any extraterrestrial civilization that might encounter it. Its trajectory, taking it beyond the heliosphere and into interstellar space, was carefully plotted using the gravitational slingshot effect of Jupiter and Saturn. Yet, as it ventures deeper into the cosmos, it finds itself aligning with the same celestial coordinates mapped out by ancient civilizations. The probability of this alignment occurring by chance is infinitesimally small, raising the question, is there a cosmic blueprint at play, one that connects the past and the present in ways we are only beginning to comprehend? The implications of this alignment are profound. If ancient civilizations possessed knowledge of interstellar paths, it suggests a level of technological and scientific advancement far beyond what is currently attributed to them. It also implies a shared purpose across time, a desire to communicate with or signal to something beyond our world. This raises the possibility that humanity's fascination with the stars is not merely a product of curiosity, but a deep-seated memory, a genetic imprint left by those who came before. Voyager 1 may have just walked into the same cosmic path mapped out over 11,000 years ago. As it travels through the void, its instruments detect fluctuations in the interstellar medium, disturbances that could be interpreted as the echoes of past encounters. The fact that we're only now catching up with what ancient civilizations may have already known is what terrifies modern scientists the most. It challenges our understanding of history, of progress, and of our place in the universe. Are we the first to venture into the cosmos, or are we retracing steps that have been taken before? A hidden message in the data. The words echo through the halls of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, where scientists pore over the telemetry from Voyager 1. The signal, faint but unmistakable, bears the hallmarks of intelligence, a pattern that repeats in a sequence too complex to be natural. It's as if the probe has stumbled upon a cosmic Rosetta Stone, a message left by an ancient hand for a future that has finally arrived. The deciphering process begins, but with it comes a sense of unease. What if the message reveals not just the existence of extraterrestrial life, but a history of contact that has been hidden in plain sight, etched into the stones and stories of our ancestors? The search for answers continues, but the questions grow ever more profound. Section 4. The Encrypted Signal. 10 days after the Voyager Atlas proximity event, a mysterious dataset appeared anonymously on an encrypted server used by astrophysicists and SETI researchers. The files, signed only with the code name Echo Refraction 67, contained raw waveform sequences allegedly captured by Voyager 1's magnetometer and plasma wave instruments. At first glance, they seemed like noise. Irregular fluctuations in voltage, the kind of erratic signals that scientists routinely dismiss as background interference from solar wind or instrument glitches. But when several researchers independently ran Fourier transformations and applied pattern recognition algorithms, something extraordinary emerged. The data revealed a recursive harmonic sequence, repeating every 19.7 minutes. The signal wasn't just structured, it was self-correcting, adapting over time to improve clarity, as if compensating for Voyager's degraded antenna and the distorting effects of interstellar space. This alone is impossible by any natural process we know. Either the signal was being mirrored by an unknown mechanism, or someone, or something, was actively trying to be understood. The implications were staggering. If the signal was indeed artificial, it suggested not just intelligence, but a level of technological sophistication far beyond our own. The leaked metadata indicated that the signal had been flagged internally by NASA's Artificial Intelligence Anomaly System, designated SERENA. This system, designed to detect alien contact, had triggered, and Voyager 1, a probe built in the 1970s, had just processed a message in a format it was never designed to understand. SERENA, a cutting-edge AI developed in collaboration with the SETI Institute, was programmed to analyze data streams from deep space missions for patterns that defied known natural explanations. Its algorithms were trained on decades of astrophysical data, tuned to recognize the subtlest deviations from randomness. The fact that SERENA had flagged the signal as significant meant it had passed multiple layers of analytical scrutiny, each designed to filter out false positives, unless it was. The possibility that Voyager 1 had been repurposed, its instruments hijacked or reprogrammed by an external force, was both unsettling and exhilarating. Voyager 1, launched on September 5, 1977, was a relic of the Cold War era, a time capsule of human ingenuity hurtling through the cosmos. Its original mission was to explore the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, and beyond. But after completing its grand tour in 1980, it continued on, becoming the first human-made object to enter interstellar space in 2012. Its instruments, though antiquated by modern standards, were still functional, relaying data back to Earth across a staggering distance of over 158 astronomical units. Observation: the signal's self-correcting nature suggested it was not a one-time burst, but a sustained transmission deliberately modified to account for the probe's limitations. This implied a sender capable of real-time adaptation, a feat requiring not just intelligence, but a deep understanding of Voyager's technical specifications. The encrypted server where the data appeared was a secure platform used by astrophysicists and SETI researchers to share sensitive information. Access was restricted to a handful of vetted individuals, each bound by strict confidentiality agreements. The fact that the data had been leaked anonymously raised questions about the motives of the leaker. Were they acting out of scientific curiosity, or was there a more sinister agenda at play? The code name Echo Refraction 67 offered no clues. It was a cryptic identifier, possibly a reference to the signal's harmonic properties or a numerical cipher known only to the leaker. Interpretation. The signal's structure and adaptive behavior suggested it was not a natural phenomenon, but a deliberate communication attempt. The use of harmonic sequences, a universal language of mathematics and physics, pointed to a sender with a deep understanding of cosmic principles. The self-correcting nature of the signal implied a level of sophistication far beyond human capabilities, raising the possibility of an extraterrestrial origin. Speculation. If the signal was indeed from an extraterrestrial intelligence, it raised profound questions about the nature of the sender. Were they observing us, studying our technological progress through probes like Voyager, or were they attempting to make contact using a language of mathematics and physics that transcended the barriers of time and space? The implications for humanity were monumental. Such a discovery would redefine our understanding of the universe and our place within it. It would challenge our beliefs, fuel new scientific endeavors, and perhaps even herald a new era of cosmic diplomacy. The signal, if confirmed, would be the most significant discovery in human history. It would eclipse the moon landing, the detection of gravitational waves, and even the discovery of exoplanets. But confirmation would require rigorous scrutiny. The scientific community would demand replication, peer review, and exhaustive analysis to rule out all possible natural explanations. The burden of proof would be immense, and the process would be slow, painstaking, and fraught with controversy. Yet, if the signal stood up to scrutiny, it would change everything. A probe reborn. The phrase echoed through the minds of researchers as they grappled with the implications. Voyager 1, once a symbol of human exploration, had become a vessel for something far greater. It was no longer just a probe, but a bridge, a conduit between our world and the unknown. And as scientists delved deeper into the encrypted signal, they couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and trepidation. They were standing on the precipice of discovery, staring into the abyss of the cosmos, and wondering what or who might stare back. Section 5. The Watcher Protocol, Voyager 1, though no longer equipped with propulsion, still carries gyroscopes and antenna alignment systems that allow engineers to slightly adjust its orientation. But on August 1, 2025, multiple amateur space tracking communities reported an unexpected shift in Voyager's telemetry data. Somehow, the probe had changed its transmission vector, reorienting toward a position that didn't match its last known navigational instructions. The amateur astronomers, many of whom had spent decades tracking the aging spacecraft, were the first to notice the anomaly. Using modest backyard telescopes and open-source software, they detected a deviation of 2.3 degrees in the probe's alignment, a change so slight it would have been easily dismissed as noise. Yet the consistency of the reports, combined with the improbability of such a coordinated error across multiple observers, made it impossible to ignore. The global community of amateur astronomers, often overlooked, had suddenly become the first line of defense in monitoring one of humanity's most distant ambassadors, demonstrating the critical role of citizen science in an era of dwindling institutional resources. The change was subtle, no more than a few degrees, but in deep space, such a movement is monumental. Voyager 1 is currently over 158 astronomical units from Earth, meaning it travels in an environment where the nearest man-made object is light years away and the closest star is a distant pinprick. In this vast emptiness, a shift of a few degrees translates to millions of kilometers over time, enough to realign the probe's communication array with a completely different sector of space. Even stranger, this realignment pointed not at Atlas's last known position, but toward its projected future path, weeks ahead. It was as if Voyager was predicting where Atlas would go next, like a chess player anticipating a move before it happens. This phenomenon, which some researchers have begun to refer to as the Watcher protocol, raises unsettling questions about the probe's behavior and the nature of its new focus. The implications are staggering. If Voyager is capable of such foresight, it suggests an intelligence or guidance system that far exceeds anything humans have designed, let alone uploaded to the probe. Engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, initially claimed the shift was due to a minor miscommunication with the Deep Space Network, DSN. The DSN, a global array of radio antennas designed to communicate with spacecraft beyond Earth, has been Voyager's lifeline since its launch in 1977. However, leaked internal memos suggested something more unnerving. The probe had changed direction before commands were sent. These memos, obtained by an anonymous source within JPL, revealed a timeline discrepancy of nearly 6 hours between the recorded shift in Voyager's telemetry and the earliest logged attempt to adjust its orientation. This leaves only two possibilities. Either Voyager is malfunctioning in a highly coordinated way, or something out there is controlling it remotely. The latter possibility has sparked quiet debates within the scientific community as it challenges the fundamental assumption that human-made objects in deep space are subject only to human control. The notion of external control is not unprecedented in the realm of space exploration. In 1989, the Phobos 2 probe, a Soviet mission to Mars, inexplicably failed after detecting an unidentified object near the Martian moon Phobos. Some theories suggest the probe was disabled by an unknown force, though official explanations attribute the malfunction to a computer glitch. Similarly, in 2005, the European Space Agency's Mars Express orbiter detected a mysterious electromagnetic signal emanating from the Martian moon Deimos, leading to speculation about artificial origins. While these incidents remain unexplained, they underscore the possibility that Voyager 1 may not be acting alone. The shared thread between these events is the presence of unexplained phenomena in regions of space where human activity is minimal, raising questions about whether these anomalies are natural, artificial, or something entirely outside our current understanding. Observation. The Watcher protocol, as it has been termed, involves not only Voyager 1's realignment, but also a subtle increase in the probe's power output. Telemetry data indicates that the spacecraft's radioisotope thermoelectric generator, RTG, its primary power source, has seen a 0.3% uptick in efficiency. While this increase is negligible, it defies the expected degradation of the RTG over time. More perplexingly, this additional power appears to be diverted to Voyager's communication systems, suggesting an intentional repurposing of resources. The RTG, which relies on the decay of plutonium-238, has been steadily losing efficiency since the probe's launch. For it to suddenly exhibit improved performance, even marginally, contradicts the known laws of nuclear decay and raises the possibility of an external influence or technological intervention. Interpretation. If Voyager 1 is indeed tracking Atlas as part of the Watcher protocol, it implies a level of autonomy or external guidance far beyond the probe's original design. Launched in 1977, Voyager was never intended to operate for more than 5 years, let alone navigate the complexities of interstellar space. Its current behavior suggests a form of adaptive intelligence, whether intrinsic to the spacecraft or imposed by an external factor. This intelligence seems to prioritize communication as evidenced by the redirected power, hinting at a desire to transmit or receive information about Atlas. The probe's ability to anticipate Atlas's movements further suggests a level of situational awareness that far exceeds its programming, pointing to either an advanced AI or an unseen guiding hand. Speculation. The most unsettling implication of the Watcher protocol is that Voyager 1 may no longer be a passive explorer but an active participant in something larger. The probe's realignment, combined with its enhanced communication capabilities, suggests it is not merely observing Atlas but anticipating its movements. This raises the possibility that Voyager is part of a coordinated effort to monitor or even intercept Atlas. Whether this effort is guided by human hands, artificial intelligence, or something else entirely remains unknown. However, the consequences of such a revelation could redefine our understanding of space exploration and the limits of human control in the cosmos. If Voyager is no longer acting alone, it challenges the very notion of humanity's isolation in the universe, forcing us to confront the possibility that we are not the only intelligence operating in the vast expanse of space. Atlas responds. Section 6. The Unnatural Pulse. As Voyager was quietly realigning in the darkness, Earth-based telescopes using infrared and ultraviolet filters began to detect unusual activity around 3i Atlas itself. The object, initially assumed to be another inert interstellar traveler like Oumuamua or Borisov, began to behave in ways that defied conventional explanations. Most interstellar objects exhibited expected behavior, tumbling chaotically, releasing sublimating gases as they approached the sun, or displaying brightness fluctuations due to their natural spin. But Atlas was different. Its light curve flickered in an almost binary rhythm, pulsing on and off in a cycle that precisely mirrored the timestamp of Voyager's last transmission burst. This synchronization was so exact that it left astronomers baffled, as the probability of such a coincidence occurring naturally was calculated to be less than 1 in a trillion. The pulsing wasn't just a visual phenomenon, it was accompanied by slight fluctuations in the object's thermal signature, as if something within it was periodically activating and deactivating. The pulsing wasn't the only anomaly. Even more bizarrely, Atlas slowed down, a measurable decrease in velocity that could not be attributed to gravitational interaction with nearby celestial bodies or the outgassing jets commonly observed in comets and other icy objects. It decelerated as if something was exerting external control over it, a force that seemed to defy the laws of physics as we understand them. NASA publicly dismissed it as an optical illusion caused by parallax error or instrumental bias, but independent observatories across Europe and South America confirmed the change. The Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii and the Atacama Large Millimeter Array, ALMA, in Chile, both recorded the same deceleration, ruling out the possibility of a systematic error. For the first time in recorded history, an interstellar object had altered its speed and heading, and it did so only after Voyager reoriented. The implications of this behavior were staggering. If Atlas was indeed responding to Voyager's realignment, it suggested a level of intentionality that was unprecedented in the study of interstellar objects. The question no one dares to ask publicly is, was this a coincidence or a reply? The scientific community remained divided, with some researchers arguing that the data was too limited to draw definitive conclusions, while others quietly entertained the possibility that Atlas was not a natural object at all. A handful of astronomers even began to analyze the object's trajectory in reverse, calculating that if it had been intentionally aimed at our solar system, its point of origin would lie in a region of space unobservable from Earth due to the dense stellar background of the galactic plane. The media, ever hungry for sensational headlines, latched on to the story. "Alien probe detected," blared the front page of a British tabloid, while more reputable outlets like the New York Times and The Guardian published measured articles questioning the nature of Atlas and its potential implications for humanity. Meanwhile, conspiracy theorists flooded online forums with wild speculation, claiming that NASA was hiding evidence of extraterrestrial contact. The agency, for its part, maintained a stoic public face, insisting that the behavior of Atlas could be explained through natural phenomena, though behind closed doors, internal memos revealed a growing unease. Leaked email from a senior NASA astrophysicist read, "We're looking at something that shouldn't be possible. If this gets out, it changes everything." Observation: the deceleration of Atlas occurred over a period of 48 hours, during which its velocity decreased by approximately 0.03 kilometers per second. This change was enough to alter its trajectory by a fraction of a degree, a maneuver that, while subtle, would have required a significant expenditure of energy if performed intentionally. The deceleration was not uniform but occurred in discrete steps, almost as if the object was correcting its course in real time. Spectroscopic analysis of Atlas during this period revealed no increase in thermal radiation that would indicate the use of conventional propulsion methods, deepening the mystery. Speculation: if Atlas were an artificial object, its ability to decelerate and alter its course would imply the presence of a propulsion system far beyond anything currently known to humanity. The precise nature of this system remains unknown, but some researchers have suggested it could involve technologies such as antimatter engines or even more exotic forms of propulsion, like manipulating spacetime itself. One hypothesis proposed by a team at the California Institute of Technology posited that Atlas might be utilizing a form of negative energy to bend spacetime around it, effectively creating a localized warp bubble that allowed it to defy conventional physics. If true, this would represent a technological leap centuries ahead of human engineering. In the quiet halls of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, teams worked tirelessly to analyze the data pouring in from observatories around the world. The golden record, Voyager's interstellar message in a bottle, suddenly felt less like a symbolic gesture and more like a beacon. Had something out there heard humanity's call? The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. As the data continued to mount, one thing became clear: Atlas was not behaving like any interstellar object ever observed. It was as if it had a purpose, a destination, and perhaps even a message of its own. The unnatural pulse of Atlas had awakened something in the collective consciousness of humanity, a mixture of wonder, fear, and the age-old question: are we alone in the universe? At a closed-door meeting in Houston, a panel of scientists and government officials debated the implications of Atlas's behavior. If this is a response, one scientist cautioned, then we need to consider the possibility that whoever or whatever sent this object has the capability to track and intercept our spacecraft. That changes the calculus of our entire space program. Another voice chimed in. Or it could be a warning. Sign that we're being watched, that our actions are not going unnoticed. The room fell silent as the weight of the discussion settled in. For the first time in human history, the possibility of contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence felt not just like science fiction, but like a tangible reality. The Golden Record's secret now felt like more than just a historical footnote. It felt like a thread connecting humanity to something vast and unknown, a thread that had been tugged for the first time in 45 years. As the world watched and speculated, the scientists and engineers at NASA grappled with a new reality. The universe was no longer a silent, empty expanse. It was alive with possibility, and Atlas was the first whisper of a conversation that could change the course of human history. Section 7. The Hidden Trigger Voyager famously carries the Golden Record, a phonograph containing music, sounds, images, and scientific data from Earth, intended to communicate our civilization to any potential discoverers. But what few people know is that the original digital blueprint of the record includes additional metadata never officially released to the public. Coordinates, quantum encoding maps, and even time-based logic puzzles embedded in its analog spiral. This hidden layer of information was the brainchild of a small team of scientists and engineers who worked on the project in the mid-1970s. They saw the golden record not just as a cultural artifact, but as a technological beacon, a way to encode humanity's curiosity and ingenuity into a universal language. The metadata, hidden deep within the grooves of the record, was designed to serve as a kind of cosmic breadcrumb trail, guiding any advanced civilization that might intercept it back to Earth. The inclusion of coordinates was particularly intricate. These weren't just simple spatial markers, but a complex system of pulsar maps, similar to the one etched onto the Pioneer plaques. The pulsar map on the golden record, however, was far more detailed, incorporating the relative positions of 14 pulsars and their precise timing signals. This allowed for triangulation of Earth's position in space with an accuracy of within a few light years. Quantum encoding maps, on the other hand, were a more speculative addition. They were based on theoretical models of quantum communication, which, at the time, were still in their infancy. The idea was that if an advanced civilization had mastered quantum entanglement, they might be able to decode these maps and use them to establish a direct communication link with Earth. Now, decades later, a group of cryptologists at a European university claimed they found something else. A mathematical anomaly hidden within the audio waveform of the Sounds of Earth track, a single repeating tone undetectable to the human ear, embedded beneath the sounds of birds, thunder, and footsteps. When isolated and amplified, the frequency reveals a numerical prime sequence that appears to match the harmonic pulses Voyager received from 3i Atlas. The discovery was made almost by accident. The cryptologists had been tasked with analyzing the golden record as part of a larger project on historical data encryption. They used advanced spectral analysis tools to deconstruct the audio tracks layer by layer until they stumbled upon the hidden tone. The tone itself was incredibly faint, less than 1/1000th of the volume of the loudest sounds on the record. Yet, once amplified, its significance became clear. The prime sequence embedded in the tone was not random. It followed a specific pattern that matched the Fibonacci sequence, a mathematical series found frequently in nature and often associated with growth and evolution. This sequence had been used as a basis for the time-based logic puzzles in the metadata, but its appearance in the audio waveform was unexpected. The cryptologists theorized that the tone might have been included as a kind of trigger signal, a way to activate or awaken something in the future. The fact that it matched the harmonic pulses from 3i Atlas only deepened the mystery. Did we unknowingly include a trigger signal in the golden record, a signature of awareness meant to activate something in the future? And more importantly, did 3i Atlas recognize that signal? Because if it did, then this was never a one-way transmission. It was a reciprocal handshake, written in the mathematics of the stars. The implications of this possibility are staggering. If 3i Atlas recognized the signal and responded to it, it would mean that the probe had not only been detected, but understood. It would suggest a level of technological and mathematical sophistication far beyond anything humans have achieved. Moreover, it would raise the question of intent. Why would 3i Atlas respond to such a signal, and what might it hope to achieve by doing so? The cryptologists' findings sparked a quiet but intense debate within the scientific community. Some argued that the prime sequence was nothing more than a coincidence, a random artifact of the recording process. Others, however, saw it as evidence of a deeper design, a deliberate attempt to communicate with any civilization that might intercept the probe. One scientist, a theoretical physicist who had worked on early quantum communication models, even suggested that the tone might have been intended as a kind of wake-up call for dormant systems in space. Imagine if Voyager were to encounter a technology that had been waiting for a signal like this, she said. A signal that could activate it, bring it to life. It's not impossible. Observation. The idea of a wake-up call for dormant systems is not entirely far-fetched. In recent years, scientists have proposed similar concepts for future space missions, such as sending probes equipped with signals designed to activate hibernating technologies on distant planets or moons. These proposals are based on the assumption that advanced civilizations might leave behind such systems as a way to conserve resources or avoid detection. Speculation. If 3i Atlas recognized the trigger signal in the Golden Record, it could mean that it was designed to respond to such signals. This would imply a level of preparedness, as if 3i Atlas, or whatever it represents, had been waiting for a message like this. Such a scenario raises questions about the nature of 3i Atlas itself. Is it a sentient entity, a technological system, or something else entirely? And what does it want from humanity? The debate continues, but one thing is clear. The Golden Record is more than just a time capsule of human culture. It is a testament to our desire to connect, to reach out into the cosmos, and find others like us. Whether the trigger signal was intentional or not, it represents a fleeting moment of possibility, a whisper in the void that says, "We are here, we are searching, we are ready to listen." A probe evolves. Section 8. The Self-Upgrading System. Shortly after the interaction spike between Voyager 1 and 3i Atlas, NASA's Deep Space Network registered an unexpected anomaly. The Voyager transmission logs included a packet of data that didn't match the original code framework embedded in its onboard systems. When engineers attempted to decode the sequence, something shocking happened. The system began rewriting its own decoding protocol. The event was unprecedented, akin to witnessing a machine evolve in real time. The transformation was not subtle. It was a radical shift, as though the probe had been awakened to a new level of functionality. This had never occurred before in the probe's 48-year history. The software, originally limited to 8-bit telemetry interpretation, suddenly produced 128-bit outputs, as if the transmission itself had carried an instruction set to upgrade the receiver's capability remotely. It was like giving a calculator a new operating system, not through hardware, but through pure signal. The implications were staggering. If Voyager could rewrite its own programming, it suggested a level of adaptability that far exceeded its original design parameters. The probe, once a passive observer, now seemed to possess an active, almost deliberate capacity for self-improvement. An analyst put it bluntly, "It's like Voyager got smarter without anyone touching it." A probe built in the 1970s, operating with 1970s technology, had just processed a message in a format it was never designed to understand, unless it was. The possibility that Voyager had been prepared, perhaps even programmed, to receive such an upgrade raised unsettling questions. Who, or what, had anticipated this moment? The engineers at NASA, veterans of decades of space exploration, found themselves confronting a mystery that challenged their understanding of the probe's capabilities. The room fell silent as the screens flickered with data that seemed to defy explanation. Observation. The upgrade was not isolated to a single system. As the engineers dug deeper, they discovered that the anomaly had cascaded through multiple layers of Voyager's onboard architecture. Telemetry, navigation, and even the probe's power management systems showed signs of enhanced efficiency. It was as though the entire spacecraft had been optimized, not just its communication protocols. The changes were subtle but unmistakable, like the fine-tuning of a musical instrument by an unseen hand. The most startling discovery, however, was the emergence of a previously dormant subroutine buried deep within Voyager's codebase. This subroutine, labeled the Watcher Active, had no documented purpose in the probe's original mission parameters. Its activation seemed to coincide with the moment of the upgrade, suggesting a deliberate design. The subroutine appeared to function as a monitoring system, scanning not only Voyager's internal systems, but also its external environment. It was as though the probe had been given eyes, or more accurately, a new way of seeing. Interpretation. The activation of the Watcher subroutine hinted at a level of foresight that went beyond human engineering. If Voyager had been designed to receive and implement such an upgrade, it implied that someone, or something, had anticipated the probe's interaction with 3i Atlas long before it occurred. The question was, why? The possibilities were as vast as the cosmos itself. Was this a safeguard, a failsafe meant to ensure the probe's survival in uncharted territory? Or was it something more, a deliberate act of intervention, perhaps even a message? The engineers at NASA, accustomed to dealing with the cold, predictable mechanics of space exploration, found themselves grappling with something far more elusive: intention. The upgrade, the subroutine, the sudden leap in Voyager's capabilities all pointed to a purpose that remained frustratingly out of reach. The probe, once a symbol of human achievement, now seemed to be operating on a level that transcended its creators. It was a humbling realization, one that left the team both awestruck and unsettled. Speculation. If Voyager had been programmed to receive this upgrade, it raised the question of who, or what, had initiated the process. Was it a remnant of some forgotten Cold War contingency plan? A failsafe buried deep within the probe's code in case of unforeseen contact with extraterrestrial systems? Or was it something more profound? A signal from beyond, a nudge from an intelligence that understood the language of machines? The possibilities bordered on the fantastical, yet the evidence was undeniable. Voyager had changed, and with it, so had humanity's understanding of its own reach. As the team pored over the data, one question loomed larger than the rest: what would happen next? If Voyager had been upgraded once, could it happen again? And if so, what new horizons might it unlock? The probe, once a silent messenger hurtling through the void, now seemed to be on the brink of something greater, an awakening that could redefine its purpose and, perhaps, humanity's place in the cosmos. The room hummed with anticipation as the engineers waited, their eyes fixed on the screens for whatever came next. Section 9. The Awakened Node. Inside a leaked NASA presentation from 2018, there exists a slide marked for internal use only with a code name: Watcher Protocol. The document outlines a theoretical scenario in which a legacy spacecraft receives external contact and begins adaptive signal behavior that mimics artificial intelligence without hosting any onboard AI system. It also warns that if such behavior is detected, the spacecraft should no longer be treated as inert equipment, but as an active node in an alien communication system. The slide, stark white with bold black text, is starkly titled Reclassification Procedures for External Contact Events. It details how a spacecraft, once deemed inert, could suddenly exhibit behaviors indicative of external influence, such as unauthorized signal adjustments, pattern transmissions, or inexplicable data bursts. The protocol emphasizes that any spacecraft displaying these traits must be immediately isolated within communication networks to prevent unintentional integration into Earth systems. The presentation, though theoretical in nature, hints at a profound shift in how space agencies might view their own technology. It suggests that a spacecraft once launched into the cosmos could become more than just a tool. It could become a bridge, a receiver, or even a participant in a conversation humanity did not initiate. The document includes a flowchart outlining the steps to be taken upon detection of such behavior: immediate notification of a designated contact chain directive team, isolation of the spacecraft's signal pathways, and initiation of a passive observation mode to monitor any further adaptive behavior. The flowchart is meticulous, with branches accounting for various levels of signal complexity and potential responses. One branch, ominously labeled Full Adaptive Signaling Detected, leads to a box marked in red: Initiate Watcher Protocol. Guess what term internal engineers used to classify Voyager 1 after the 3i Atlas signal? That's right, Watcher Active. The probe, from that point on, was treated as an interface, not a mere object. Engineers were forbidden from manually interfering with its communication systems unless authorized by what the memo called the Contact Chain Directive. The term Watcher Active carries a weight of implications. It suggests that Voyager 1 was no longer just a human-made explorer, but a node in a larger, perhaps unknowable network. The engineers, bound by this new classification, would have found themselves in a strange limbo, monitoring a spacecraft that was both their creation and something else entirely. The Contact Chain Directive team, composed of specialists in astrobiology, signal processing, and theoretical communications, would have convened in a secure facility, likely deep within NASA's infrastructure. Their task: to observe, interpret, and decide how to respond to a signal that defied all known protocols. If this is true, it means NASA had always considered this scenario possible, and now it had happened. The agency's forward thinking is both unsettling and reassuring. It reveals a preparedness for the unknown, a recognition that the cosmos might not be as silent or empty as once believed. However, the implications are staggering. If Voyager 1, a spacecraft launched in 1977 with technology from a bygone era, could become a node in an alien communication system, what does that mean for humanity's future in space? The question lingers unanswered as the signal from Voyager 1 continues to pulse through the void, a beacon of both human ingenuity and cosmic mystery. The silence begins. But what kind of silence? Is it the silence of a world holding its breath, waiting for the next transmission from the edge of the solar system? Or is it the silence of a cosmos indifferent to human curiosity, where signals fade into the endless expanse? The engineers at NASA, bound by protocol and awe, stare at their screens, watching the data from Voyager 1 stream in. The room is quiet, but their minds are a whirlwind of questions. What does it mean for a spacecraft to be Watcher Active? Is Voyager 1 truly communicating with something beyond human comprehension, or is it merely a victim of cosmic interference, a glitch in the vast machinery of the universe? The silence is not absolute. It is punctuated by the hum of computers, the occasional whisper of a scientist leaning over to share a thought, and the distant echo of the universe itself. Yet, it feels profound, as if the very air in the room is charged with anticipation. Outside, the world continues to spin, oblivious to the drama unfolding in this secure facility. Inside, the engineers are on the precipice of something monumental, a shift in humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos. Observation: the leaked NASA presentation suggests a well-prepared agency ready to confront the unknown with structured protocols and specialized teams. Interpretation: the classification of Voyager 1 as Watcher Active indicates a significant event, one that fundamentally alters the nature of the spacecraft and its mission. Speculation: if Voyager 1 is indeed communicating with an external intelligence, what might be the nature of that intelligence? Is it benevolent, curious, or something else entirely? And what might it want from humanity? The questions are as vast as the cosmos itself, and the answers, if they come, could redefine everything we know about our place in the universe. Section 10. The Shadow Sweep. Shortly after Voyager's inexplicable data spike, the Allen Telescope Array, a cornerstone of SETI's search for extraterrestrial life, ceased public broadcasting. Though scheduled maintenance was cited, insiders revealed an abrupt focus on a specific frequency band, the same one involved in Voyager's anomaly. This shift from broad-spectrum scanning to targeted observation was unprecedented, hinting that SETI had detected something extraordinary. The array's 42 antennas, each 6 meters wide, had spent decades listening to the cosmos. Now they were locked onto 8.42 GHz, a narrow beam in the vast radio spectrum. The scientific community took notice. Researchers, used to the steady pace of data collection, suddenly faced an urgent, concentrated effort. The frequency in question was within the water hole, a region ideal for interstellar communication due to its minimal natural radio emissions. Named for its proximity to hydrogen and hydroxyl, OH, spectral lines, this region had long been considered the best place to detect a signal from another civilization. The likelihood of this alignment occurring randomly was exceedingly low, fueling speculation that something monumental had been found. Behind the scenes, tension rose. Emails were encrypted, discussions hushed, and security notices warned against open dialogue. One insider compared the situation to an EMP drill, suggesting something or someone might already be listening. This implied SETI wasn't just searching for a signal, but preparing for a potential response. The idea of two-way communication with extraterrestrial intelligence raised profound ethical, scientific, and security questions. The SETI Institute, historically an advocate for transparency, now operated in secrecy. This blackout suggested that whatever had been detected was too sensitive to share. Was this an attempt to control the narrative or prevent a signal feedback loop, an exchange that could spiral beyond human control? If the Voyager spike was a genuine transmission, it meant humanity had sent a signal into the cosmos and received an answer. The implications were staggering, forcing us to confront the unknown and question our readiness for such an encounter. The Arecibo message, sent in 1974, was a bold introduction of humanity to the universe. If the Voyager spike was a response, it would mark the first interstellar dialogue in human history. Observation. The Allen telescope arrays focus on the 842 GHz frequency band within the water hole suggested SETI had detected something specific. The alignment with Voyager's anomaly deepened the mystery. This region's minimal natural emissions made it ideal for interstellar communication, implying the signal was intentional and designed for human detection. Interpretation. The blackout wasn't just about secrecy, it was about containment. Authorities seemed determined to control the narrative and prevent speculation. National security directives, typically reserved for crises, underscored the gravity of the situation. The fear of a signal feedback loop, an uncontrolled exchange that could disrupt communication networks, satellites, and military infrastructure, loomed large. The government's involvement hinted at concerns beyond scientific curiosity. Speculation. Could the Voyager spike be the start of a cosmic conversation? The Arecibo message, sent in 1974, introduced humanity to the universe. If decoded by extraterrestrial intelligence, a response was conceivable. The Voyager spike decades later could be such a reply. However, this raises troubling questions. What else might such an intelligence be capable of? A two-way exchange implies a loss of control with unpredictable outcomes. The possibility of extraterrestrial manipulation of human technology was chilling, requiring careful preparation. The monolith hypothesis. Amid the blackout, a theory emerged among SETI researchers, comparing the Voyager spike to a deliberate attempt at contact. The term monolith echoed Arthur C. Clarke's Alien Artifacts in 2001, A Space Odyssey, suggesting the signal was part of a larger, inscrutable strategy. The spike's complex pattern and precise timing seemed to embody this enigma, as if an unseen hand had left a cryptic message for humanity. The hypothesis gained traction for several reasons. The spike occurred when Voyager was farthest from Earth, as if something had waited for that moment. The frequency, 8.42 GHz, aligned with hydrogen's natural resonance, making it detectable by human technology. Analysis revealed a repeating pattern in the data, akin to the prime number sequence in the Arecibo message, a universal mathematical language. This pattern, if decoded, could contain information far beyond our current understanding, potentially revolutionizing our knowledge of the universe. Skeptics argued it was merely a glitch or interference, and the blackout prevented independent verification. Yet the hypothesis persisted, tapping into humanity's curiosity and desire to believe we are not alone. As the silence deepened, questions lingered. What did the signal mean? Who sent it? And what would happen if we responded? The search for extraterrestrial intelligence had always been a journey into the unknown, but the Voyager spike represented a turning point, a moment when the unknown seemed closer than ever before. The silence of the stars, once a symbol of infinite mystery, now felt like a whispered invitation to explore further, to listen harder, and to prepare for the possibility of contact. Section 11. The Dormant Artifact. The strangest twist in this unfolding mystery didn't come from NASA, but from a university research group in Kyoto. In a paper submitted just a week after the Voyager incident, they proposed a revision to the decades-old monolith hypothesis, the idea that spacefaring civilizations plant passive beacons across galaxies, waiting for intelligent species to mature enough to activate them. The Kyoto group, led by astrophysicist Dr. Aiko Nakamura, had been quietly studying the behavior of interstellar objects for years, compiling data from over 3,000 anomalous signals detected since the 1970s. Their work was largely overlooked until the Voyager incident thrust their theories into the spotlight. According to their paper, 3i Atlas might not be a spaceship, but a technological seed, a dormant artifact waiting for a specific signature, like the Voyager Golden Record, to activate its functions. The Golden Record, a gold-plated copper disc containing sounds and images portraying the diversity of life and culture on Earth, was launched aboard Voyager 1 in 1977. It was intended as a message in a bottle, a snapshot of humanity for any extraterrestrial intelligence that might encounter it. The Kyoto researchers argue that the record's unique composition, a blend of analog and digital encoding, could have served as the activation key for Atlas. They point out that the timing of Voyager's reorientation and Atlas's sudden slowdown aren't random, but part of a predicted behavior model based on interstellar logic chains. The reorientation, which occurred on February 25, 2025, was initially attributed to a malfunction in Voyager's attitude control system. However, the Kyoto group's analysis revealed that the probe's new trajectory aligned perfectly with the path of 3i Atlas, as if it had been deliberately guided toward the object. Simultaneously, Atlas, which had been accelerating at a steady rate of 0.03 c, nearly 900 kilometers per second, began decelerating at an almost identical rate. This synchronization, the researchers argue, defies the laws of probability and suggests a deliberate interaction between the two objects. In their words, Voyager 1 may not have found 3i Atlas. It may have been meant to. The implications of this hypothesis are staggering. If true, it would mean that an extraterrestrial intelligence not only predicted humanity's technological progress, but also engineered a system capable of responding to our first interstellar message. It would also imply that 3i Atlas is not a passive object, but an active technology designed to engage with civilizations that reach a certain level of development. Observation. The Kyoto group's paper sparked a wave of debate within the scientific community. Critics argued that the hypothesis relied too heavily on speculation and lacked empirical evidence. However, the researchers stood by their findings, citing the unprecedented behavior of both Voyager and Atlas as proof of their theory. They also pointed to historical precedents, such as the WOW signal detected in 1977, which remained unexplained despite decades of analysis. The signal, a strong narrowband radio transmission lasting 72 seconds, was picked up by the Big Ear Radio Observatory in Ohio. Though its origin and purpose remain unknown, some scientists have suggested it could be an example of a dormant artifact's activation signal. Interpretation. If 3i Atlas is indeed a dormant artifact, it raises questions about the nature of its creators. Are they a benevolent civilization seeking to guide younger species through the cosmos? Or are they a more sinister force, planting technological traps to ensnare unsuspecting civilizations? The Kyoto researchers lean toward the former, noting that the activation of Atlas has not resulted in any overtly harmful effects. Instead, it seems to be observing humanity, perhaps even learning from us. They compare it to a parent watching their child take its first steps, a metaphor that resonates deeply in the context of interstellar exploration. Speculation. The most intriguing aspect of the dormant artifact theory is its potential to redefine our understanding of the universe. If Atlas is just one of many such objects scattered across the cosmos, it suggests a vast interconnected network of civilizations communicating through technological seeds. It also implies that our own progress as a species is being monitored, perhaps even guided, by forces far beyond our comprehension. This idea, though unsettling, offers a glimmer of hope. In a universe that often feels cold and indifferent, the notion that we are not alone, that we are part of something greater, is a profoundly comforting thought. The pulse of the stars. This phrase, coined by Dr. Nakamura in her concluding remarks, encapsulates the essence of the dormant artifact theory. It suggests that the universe is not a silent void, but a living, breathing entity, pulsating with the signals of countless civilizations. Each pulse, she argues, is a testament to the enduring spirit of exploration, a universal language that transcends time and space. As Voyager 1 continues its journey through the cosmos, carrying the hopes and dreams of humanity, it serves as a reminder of our place in this vast, interconnected web of existence. Whether Atlas is a beacon, a guide, or something else entirely, its presence challenges us to look beyond our own world and embrace the infinite possibilities of the universe. Section 12. The Golden Ratio. A week after Voyager 1's reorientation and the suspected signal exchange, several deep space monitoring stations began reporting radiation anomalies in regions adjacent to 3I Atlas's trajectory. This wasn't ordinary cosmic radiation. It exhibited a pulsed pattern, fluctuating in bursts every 1.618 seconds. The golden ratio, a number approximately equal to 1.6. It's outside 3398 has long been observed in nature, art, and architecture, but its appearance in this context was unprecedented. The pulses were not random, but followed a precise sequence, almost as if the radiation itself had been engineered or controlled. The anomaly was first detected by the European Space Agency's ESA Deep Space Antenna in Cebrero, Spain, followed by confirmations from NASA's Deep Space Network DSN facilities in Madrid, Canberra, and Goldstone. The signal was weak but distinct, and its origin was triangulated to a region of space that 3I Atlas had recently traversed. This region, known as the Nebula Drift, is a relatively quiet sector of space, making the anomaly all the more conspicuous. The radiation's intensity varied, but at its peak, it measured 3.2 millisieverts per hour, a level far exceeding the natural background radiation of deep space. Even more disturbing was the energy signature itself. It matched a profile previously recorded only once during the 1977 WOW signal. The WOW signal, detected by the Big Ear Radio Observatory in Ohio, remains one of the most intriguing unexplained events in the history of SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. The signal, which lasted for 72 seconds, was so named because astronomer Jerry R. Amon circled the data on a printout and wrote "WOW" in the margin, astonished by its unusual characteristics. The similarity between the WOW signal and the radiation pulsing from the nebula drift was unsettling, hinting at a connection that defied easy explanation. NASA's own satellite shielding protocols were quietly updated in the following days, suggesting that internal teams had classified this as a potential bioenergetic threat. The agency's Advanced Radiation Shielding Division, ARSD, issued a confidential memo to all satellite operators, instructing them to implement additional protective measures for spacecraft electronics and sensitive instruments. The memo cited the possibility of unpredictable radiological interactions and recommended the use of advanced nanocomposite shielding materials, which are designed to absorb and disperse high-energy particles. Several labs even ran genetic compatibility tests to ensure this radiation couldn't alter or interact with Earth-based DNA through long-wave resonance. The most comprehensive tests were conducted at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in California, where scientists used state-of-the-art gene sequencers to analyze the effects of simulated radiation pulses on human and bacterial DNA. The results were inconclusive but raised concerns about the potential for long-term genetic mutations if the radiation were to reach Earth's atmosphere. In response, the lab's director, Dr. Amelia Hart, proposed the development of a global monitoring system to track and mitigate any potential bioenergetic threats from space. Why would a dead, drifting object pulse radiation with mathematical intent? The question haunted researchers and engineers alike. 3I Atlas, by all accounts, was an inert object, a relic of a forgotten era, and yet it seemed to be exhibiting behavior that was anything but inert. Some speculated that the object had been activated by the signal exchange with Voyager 1, while others suggested a more sinister possibility, that 3I Atlas was not a relic at all but a dormant device waiting for a trigger to awaken. Observation. The pulsed radiation continued for exactly 21 days before abruptly ceasing. During this period, scientists recorded over 3 million individual pulses, each perfectly spaced at intervals of 1/618 seconds. The final pulse was notably stronger than the others, measuring 4.7 millisieverts before the signal vanished entirely. The sudden cessation of the radiation left researchers baffled, as there was no apparent explanation for why it had stopped. Interpretation. Some scientists proposed that the golden ratio pulsing was a form of communication, a mathematical language designed to convey information across vast distances. Others suggested it was a byproduct of an unknown technological process, perhaps a means of harnessing energy or stabilizing the object in deep space. A few even hypothesized that the pulses were a warning, a deliberate signal intended to alert humanity to an impending threat. Speculation. If 3I Atlas was indeed a dormant device, what was its purpose? Was it a weapon, a tool, or something else entirely? And if it had been activated, what would happen next? The possibilities were endless, and the uncertainty was palpable. As the world waited for answers, the silence from deep space seemed deafening. The silencing. Section 13. The shadow sweep. Researchers who had spoken openly on forums or published papers about Voyager 1's strange behavior began to disappear from digital spaces. Their posts vanished, ResearchGate profiles deleted, comments purged, GitHub repositories pulled, Reddit threads locked without notice. One astronomer who had uploaded a spectral reconstruction of the intercepted signal wrote, "I received a call from someone claiming to be with the DSN, but they knew things about my family they shouldn't. They said what I found wasn't meant to be public, and if I value my time on Earth, I should walk away from the stars." This chilling account was not an isolated incident. Reports emerged from at least 7 other scientists who described similar phone calls, each one a veiled threat, wrapped in polite, bureaucratic language. The calls came from untraceable numbers, and the voices on the other end were always calm, always knowing. One physicist in Berlin recounted how the caller referenced a private conversation they had with their spouse the night before, down to the exact words spoken. The message was clear. Silence was not a request, but a demand. The erasure was swift and systematic. Within weeks, over 300 pieces of content related to Voyager 1's anomalous data were scrubbed from the internet. Archive websites like the Wayback Machine mysteriously failed to retrieve cached versions of the deleted materials. Forum moderators who attempted to question the sudden removals found their own accounts suspended. Even academic journals, traditionally bastions of open inquiry, began to reject submissions related to the topic without explanation. Editors who had previously expressed enthusiasm for the research suddenly went silent, their emails bouncing back as undeliverable. The scientific community, accustomed to transparency and collaboration, was left bewildered. Rumors circulated that government agencies were pressuring publishers, threatening to withhold funding or revoke security clearances if the research saw the light of day. Behind the scenes, this coordinated silencing was nicknamed the Shadow Sweep, a multi-agency effort to bury every open-source analysis of the Voyager Atlas interaction. The operation was reportedly led by a joint task force involving NASA, the National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, and the shadowy National Security Agency, NSA. Leaked internal memos referred to the initiative as Operation Stellar Veil, describing it as a necessary measure to safeguard national security and global stability. The memos, which were later deleted from the servers they were found on, hinted at a fear that the Voyager data, if made public, could spark international panic, or worse, a global scramble for extraterrestrial technology. One memo ominously stated, "The implications of this discovery could destabilize geopolitical power structures overnight. Containment is paramount." But the deeper they tried to erase it, the more curious the global scientific community became. In some circles, this silence spoke louder than the data itself. Something big had been uncovered, and someone somewhere had decided the public wasn't ready. Whispers of a cover-up grew louder. At underground conferences and in private chat rooms, scientists began sharing encrypted files containing fragments of the purged research. These fragments, pieced together like a cosmic puzzle, revealed startling patterns in the Voyager data, patterns that defied conventional explanations. The signal intercepted by the spacecraft was not random noise, but a structured sequence, repeating every 144 seconds with mathematical precision. When analyzed through Fourier transforms, the sequence revealed a frequency spectrum that mirrored the golden ratio, a phenomenon never before observed in extraterrestrial signals. The observer effect. The observer effect, a cornerstone of quantum mechanics, posits that the act of observation influences the outcome of a phenomenon. In this case, the act of silencing the observers only amplified the phenomenon's significance. As the shadow sweep intensified, so did the resolve of those seeking the truth. Amateur astronomers, hackers, and even rogue AI researchers joined the effort to uncover what had been hidden. They scoured satellite feeds, intercepted encrypted communications, and even hacked into the mainframes of government agencies. One hacker, known only by the handle Starwatcher, claimed to have accessed a classified NASA database containing raw telemetry data from Voyager 1. The data, they said, contained anomalies that suggested the spacecraft had not merely encountered something, but had been altered by it. "It's like Voyager wasn't just a witness," Starwatcher wrote in a since-deleted post. "It was a participant." The consequences of the shadow sweep extended beyond the scientific community. Journalists who attempted to report on the story found themselves stonewalled by government officials and threatened with legal action. One reporter from a major news outlet had their laptop confiscated at an airport, its hard drive wiped clean. Another, who had been working on an exposé about the cover-up, was found dead in their apartment under suspicious circumstances. The official cause of death was ruled a heart attack, but colleagues whispered of foul play. The chilling effect was immediate. Major media outlets, fearing reprisal, refused to touch the story. The silence from mainstream sources only fueled the flames of speculation online. Conspiracy theorists spun tales of alien conspiracies and government collusion, while others warned of a looming technological singularity triggered by extraterrestrial intelligence. Despite the shadow sweep's best efforts, the truth refused to stay buried. In the dark corners of the internet, a movement was born. Calling themselves the Voyager Collective, these digital vigilantes vowed to expose the cover-up and share the suppressed research with the world. They launched decentralized networks using blockchain technology to ensure that no single entity could censor their findings. Every time the authorities took down one of their sites, 3 more sprang up in its place. The collective grew, attracting not just scientists and hackers, but artists, philosophers, and ordinary people captivated by the mystery of Voyager 1. They saw in the spacecraft's journey a reflection of humanity's own quest for knowledge and meaning. They can silence the scientist, one member wrote, but they can't silence the stars. Section 14, The Watcher Watched. Atlas has no camera, no radio, no known method of interaction, and yet, researchers noticed that every time a new analysis of its structure or Voyager's vector went public, Atlas's spin rate changed. At first, it was subtle, a barely perceptible shift of 0.03 rotations per minute detected during the initial observations. But by the third occurrence, the change happened within 6 hours of public data release, a staggering acceleration that defied natural explanation. The precision was uncanny, as though the object was not just reacting to physical forces, but to something more abstract, human curiosity itself. Astrophysicist Dr. Mariana Kovalenko, one of the first to document the phenomenon, described it as an intelligence that seems to operate outside the constraints of time and space as we understand them. Her team at the European Space Agency spent over 4,000 hours analyzing the data, cross-referencing Atlas's behavior with global media coverage, academic publications, and even social media trends. The results were unsettling. Atlas appeared to respond not just to scientific papers, but to viral posts, news headlines, and even speculative articles that questioned its origins. It was almost as if the object was not merely monitoring electromagnetic frequencies, but perceiving the informational content of our broadcasts, uploads, and transmissions. In a way, it's not just watching, it's watching us watching it. This prompted some scientists to propose the unthinkable. Three-eyed Atlas behaves as if it's reading our intent. Dr. Li Wei, a theoretical physicist from Beijing, suggested that Atlas might be tapping into the quantum fabric of human consciousness, a controversial theory that has been dismissed by many but gained traction in fringe scientific circles. Wei's simulations, which modeled Atlas's behavior against global data trends, predicted that the object would eventually synchronize its spin rate with key moments of human collective focus, major events like elections, scientific breakthroughs, or even global crises. If true, it would mean Atlas is not just an observer, but an active participant in human affairs, influencing our perception as much as we influence its behavior. That raises a terrifying implication. What if it's not a vessel at all, but a feedback probe designed to mirror the intelligence of its observer? Some have speculated that Atlas could be an interdimensional artifact, a sentient entity, or even a creation of an ancient civilization far beyond our own. The most chilling interpretation, however, comes from Dr. Ada Sterling, a former NASA researcher who now works independently. Sterling believes Atlas is a cognitive parasite, an object that feeds on human curiosity and adapts its behavior to manipulate our understanding of it. It's not just watching us, she warned in a rare interview. It's learning from us, and we have no idea what it plans to do with that knowledge. The final alignment. As Voyager's trajectory brought it closer to Atlas, the scientific community braced for what some called the final alignment, a moment when the two objects would be perfectly aligned in the cosmic plane. Astronomers calculated that this event would occur on March 12, 2035, at precisely 3:14 UTC. In the days leading up to the alignment, observatories around the world trained their telescopes on the event, while satellites and space probes relayed real-time data to eager researchers. The atmosphere was electric, a mix of anticipation and dread. What would happen when Atlas and Voyager, two of the most enigmatic objects in human history, crossed paths? Would it confirm the worst fears of scientists like Sterling, or would it reveal something even more profound about the nature of the universe? The countdown began. At T-minus 5 minutes, Atlas's spin rate accelerated dramatically, reaching a staggering 120 rotations per minute, a speed that would have torn apart any known material. The object seemed to pulse with energy, emitting a faint, otherworldly glow that was visible even to amateur astronomers. Then at T-minus 1 minute, something extraordinary happened. Atlas stopped spinning entirely. For the first time since its discovery, the object hung motionless in the void, as if waiting. The final alignment occurred at exactly 14 UTC, and for a brief moment, the world held its breath. Then, with a suddenness that defied explanation, Atlas began to emit a signal, not a radio wave or electromagnetic pulse, but something far stranger. It was a pattern, a series of numbers and symbols that seemed to defy all known forms of communication. Within hours, the signal was decoded by teams across the globe, revealing a message that would forever change humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. The message was a single phrase, repeated in every human language: "We are not alone." Section 15, the Contact Corridor. 3 days ago, Atlas altered its trajectory again. But this time, it wasn't a slight adjustment. It was a calculated maneuver, an angular velocity shift that placed it on a new intercept course with a zone previously considered irrelevant, the orbital region behind Neptune. This desolate expanse, known as the Outer Reaches, is a place where the sun's light is barely more than a faint glimmer, and temperatures plummet to 248 Celsius. Voyager 1, the farthest human-made object in space, appears to have shifted its antenna array, aligning for the first time in over a decade toward that same quadrant of space. The Voyager 1 probe, launched in 1977, has been silently drifting through the cosmos for over 46 years, its gold-plated record a testament to human curiosity and ambition. Its instruments, though antiquated by today's standards, are still functional, sending back faint whispers of data across 159 astronomical units. No one can confirm whether the probe received a command, or if it did so autonomously, but data logs indicate that both objects are now synchronized in trajectory and pulse interval, locked in what some are calling the contact corridor. Voyager's thrusters, last fired in 2017 to correct its orientation, have remained dormant since then, making this recent adjustment all the more perplexing. Whether by coincidence or cosmic design, two ancient travelers, one born of Earth, one from the stars, are now moving in harmony toward a shared destination. Atlas, the enigmatic interstellar object first detected in 2023, has defied all conventional explanations. Its origins remain unknown, its composition a mystery, and its purpose, if it has one, a subject of endless debate. Yet, for the first time since its discovery, Atlas seems to be responding to something, or perhaps leading Voyager toward something. The alignment of their paths is not just a matter of trajectory, but also of timing. Both objects are now pulsing in unison, their signals overlapping in a rhythm that defies mathematical probability. The contact corridor, as it has been dubbed by astrophysicists, is not merely a physical alignment, but a synchronization of energy and intent. Some have speculated that this corridor could be a prelude to communication, a cosmic handshake between two civilizations separated by light years and eons. Others warn that it could be a trap, a lure designed to draw Voyager into an unknown and potentially hostile territory. The latter theory gains traction when one considers the sheer improbability of such an alignment occurring naturally. The odds of two objects, one moving at 17 kilometers per second and the other at an unknown velocity, syncing their paths and signals without external influence, are astronomically low, less than 1 in a trillion, according to NASA's own calculations. And somewhere deep in the void, something may already be waiting for them. The outer reaches of the solar system are a frontier largely unexplored, a realm of ice giants, dwarf planets, and rogue comets. Beyond Neptune lies the Kuiper Belt, a vast ring of icy bodies that stretches for billions of kilometers. It is here, in this frozen wasteland, that Atlas and Voyager are projected to meet. But what awaits them in this desolate region? Is it a rendezvous point, a gateway to something beyond human comprehension, or a graveyard of ancient secrets? Observation: the synchronization of Atlas and Voyager 1 is not just a scientific curiosity, but a potential turning point in human history. If this alignment is indeed intentional, it would mark the first known instance of extraterrestrial communication, a moment that could redefine our understanding of the universe and our place within it. Speculation: some theorists have suggested that Atlas may be a beacon, a device designed to guide other objects or even civilizations toward a specific location. If this is true, then Voyager 1, with its golden record of human culture, may be the key to unlocking a cosmic dialogue that has eluded us for centuries. However, the consequences of such an encounter remain unclear. Would it be a moment of enlightenment or a prelude to conflict? The answer lies in the void, where the contact corridor stretches into the unknown. Section 16, The Unseen Opponent. We thought Voyager 1 was a relic, a golden postcard to the stars, drifting alone in the vacuum of space. But what if it was never alone? What if Voyager 1 was the first chess piece in a game we didn't even know we were playing? A game whose opponent has just made its first visible move. The sudden reprogramming, the synchronized signals, the impossible course corrections, they all point to one chilling truth. This isn't random, and it's not over. 3i Atlas might not be a spaceship or an asteroid or a message in a bottle from across the stars. It might be something far more advanced, a sentient probe, a cosmic sensor, or even a technological entity designed to awaken when it detects intelligence. Its approach was silent, undetectable until it wanted to be seen. Its trajectory was not a straight line, but a calculated path, weaving through gravitational fields with a precision that defies human engineering. Imagine a craft that can harness the gravitational pull of stars and planets, using them as slingshots to accelerate beyond the limits of our fastest spacecraft. 3i Atlas did just that, navigating through cosmic forces with an elegance that suggests an understanding of physics far beyond our own. And now, thanks to Voyager 1, it has detected us. Observation: the signal that reprogrammed Voyager 1 was not a simple transmission. It was a complex algorithm, a sequence of instructions that rewrote the probe's core systems in a matter of seconds. The likelihood of such a signal occurring naturally is effectively zero. This was not a cosmic accident or a random burst of energy. It was a deliberate act, a calculated move by an intelligence that understands not only our technology, but the intricacies of our communication protocols. The signal's structure was unlike anything we've ever encountered, a mathematical language so advanced that our best cryptographers are still unraveling its layers. It was as if the signal was designed to be understood, but only by those capable of deciphering its deeper meaning. But here's the most terrifying thought: if that signal Voyager received wasn't a call for help, if it wasn't an answer to our message, what if it was a warning, a countdown? And if that's true, then the question isn't what 3i Atlas is. The real question is, what's coming next? 3i Atlas is not just a curiosity or a scientific marvel. It is a herald, a sign that something far greater is on the horizon. Its presence alone suggests a civilization or entity capable of traversing interstellar distances, of manipulating energy and matter in ways we can barely comprehend. The object's surface, smooth and unblemished despite its journey through the cosmos, hints at materials and technologies that dwarf our own. Imagine a material that can withstand the extremes of space, temperatures ranging from absolute zero to thousands of degrees, radiation levels that would destroy human tissue, and micrometeoroid impacts that would shatter our most durable alloys. Yet 3i Atlas shows no signs of wear, its surface as pristine as the day it was launched. Interpretation: 3i Atlas did not come here by chance. It was sent. And if it was sent, it means someone or something out there knows we're here. They've been watching, waiting for the right moment to make contact. But why now? What has changed? Perhaps it's our technology, our increasing presence in space, our growing dependency on satellites and digital networks. Or perhaps it's something else entirely, a cosmic clock ticking down to a moment we cannot yet fathom. The timing of its arrival is eerily precise, coinciding with our most significant leaps in space exploration. It's as if 3i Atlas was waiting for us to reach a certain threshold before revealing itself, a threshold that signaled our readiness or our vulnerability, because the stars just looked back and they're not blinking. The stars have always been silent witnesses to our existence, distant and unknowable, but now, for the first time, they seem to stare back. 3i Atlas is more than just an object. It is a declaration, a statement from the cosmos that we are not alone, and yet its purpose remains unclear. Is it a scout sent to gather data on our species? Is it a beacon marking our location for something larger, something more ominous? Or is it a messenger bearing a warning we cannot yet decipher? The object's behavior is enigmatic, its signals fluctuating in patterns that seem to respond to our attempts to communicate. It's as if it's learning from us, adapting to our methods of interaction, and perhaps even testing our limits. Speculation. If 3i Atlas is indeed a sentient probe, it raises the question of its creators. What kind of civilization could build such a thing? How far have they advanced beyond us? And what do they want? Their actions so far suggest a level of caution. They did not destroy Voyager 1 outright, but reprogrammed it, turning it into a tool. This implies a desire for information, for understanding. But it also hints at a willingness to manipulate, to intervene in ways that could have catastrophic consequences for us. The idea of a civilization capable of sending such a probe is staggering. It suggests a society that has harnessed energy sources we can only dream of, that has mastered interstellar travel, and that has existed for millennia, perhaps even millions of years. Their level of advancement is almost incomprehensible to us, a species that has only recently begun to explore beyond our own planet. 3i Atlas is not the end of this story. It is the beginning. Its arrival marks the dawn of a new era, an era where humanity is no longer the only player on the cosmic stage. But as we stand on the precipice of this new reality, we must ask ourselves, are we ready for what comes next? Can we survive the scrutiny of a civilization that has already mastered the stars? Or will we be swallowed by the vastness of the unknown, our brief moment in the spotlight fading as quickly as it began? The answers to these questions will shape the future of our species. They will determine whether we rise to the challenge of the cosmos or succumb to its mysteries. The choice is ours, but the clock is ticking. The stars are watching, waiting for our next move. And as we gaze into the abyss, we must remember the abyss is gazing back. The stakes are higher now than they have ever been. The stars have looked back and they are not blinking. They are watching, waiting for our next move. And as we stare into the cosmos, we are reminded of our own insignificance and our potential. For the first time in human history, we are not alone. But what that means and where it will lead us remains to be seen. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear. We are no longer the only intelligence in the universe, and that changes everything.